Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Ethics. We are here to do a preview of Sunderland's Premier League clash against relegation threatened Tottenham Hotspur. Taff, how are you doing on this fine Thursday evening?
Well, I'm doing pretty good. I've got another week off work and I'm drinking some pretty stiff orange juice. But what a phrase, what a sentence you just said. Relegation threatened Tottenham. Isn't that
I, sh-
astonishing?
I should have said European chase and Sunderland face relegation threatened Tottenham.
It's incredible, really.
Yeah,
And if we
it
win this
is.
game, we will genuinely be chasing Europe.
Yeah, I mean, we are already genuinely chasing Europe.
Three more points would be lovely, though, wouldn't it?
No, it would, but I think as we sit here right now on Thursday evening, Sunderland are in the race for European football. We're 3 points off it, so
It's staggering stuff.
it is. And there
Yeah.
is no reason why we can't win
Do
this
you
game.
look,
So,
look at you smiling there? Do you
I
remember
know.
how we felt at the start of the season?
I
All
know.
nerves and worry.
I had us to finish 19th. You watch propaganda. I was ready to write the season off. And yet here we are, safe. I just saw Conor McGilligan, because I watch his channel, and he
Yeah.
has put a video on about Leeds' injury crisis. And they've apparently got like six players, big players out for their next few games, like Stacks injured, Gabriel Goodmanson, Jacques Abiol, a few of the other ones. And I'm just
Well,
like,
that's all right.
imagine.
It's all right. We lost we lost half the planet over AFCON, didn't we?
I know that's true. It's true. But I think what struck me is just the lack of stress. Like we just go into these last seven games. In fact, it's been longer than that, though, hasn't it? It's been basically since like
Yeah.
January. It's after we beat
Yes.
Burnley. No
In
stress.
fact, I think most of us probably suspected that when AFCON began, we're all right here, you know.
Yeah, yeah. It's wild. It's wild.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk a little bit about Spurs, because I don't know what I don't know how you can really analyze Spurs when they've just brought in a new manager. I think it's very difficult for us to sit here and say this is how they're going to play. Um, but when I looked into Spurs, some of the things I saw, they're a pretty decent pressing team. They've actually got a really good
And
record from coming back
De
from losing
Zerbi will have
positions.
them pressing all across the pitch if he
Yeah,
dares.
yeah. They're a good set piece team. But they're really bad, basically, at defending. Is essentially the research that I have seen. They've got horrific individual errors. They, I think, commit the most individual errors of any Premier League team. So, with that being said, if De Zerbi can tidy that up, does that make it? Does it make Spurs a better
Wow.
team? But I
It's
don't know. What?
it's. I think it's a really interesting fixture, and I can't really call it because will they get a new manager bounce? Maybe, because in some sense, everything you just said, um, De Zerbi doubles down on. So he will press everywhere on the pitch to try and hassle us out of the ball. And you looked at us against Newcastle, actually. We're quite good at beating the press. In many
Mm,
ways, they play and press a bit like Newcastle. So, and he risks a lot doing that. And at the back, you say they are error prone individually. He will have them passing the ball around at the back, attempting to draw our press onto him. And they will look for triangles to play out from that. And they will have players stand their foot on the ball, not ready to kick it, in order to try and tempt someone to run at them. They will try and pass it backwards and forwards. They'll keep it a lot and try and play out like that. So, I mean, he is going to double down on their difficulties. And the
but
question is, if he can make it work, well, then that solves a lot of their problems. But what a risk he's taking. He plays risky football from the back. And if you've got a team who've been chronically um, sort of error prone at the back, what a risk De Zerbi is going to take. And does he do that first game away to Sunderland?
well, that was the thing I was about to say. Is does it does a manager not go into Tottenham? And any manager worth his salt, I think, goes into Tottenham and goes to simplify things. I think when you're struggling, the key thing to do. I think about when Sunderland have been in relegation trouble in the past, and generally the new managers we bring in always simplified things, and it was more win your individual battles, try and get the ball in the box and get men in the box, and
Yeah.
that'll hopefully take care of itself. You become defensively more organised and stuff. Now, that is normally what would happen if they hired Sean Dyche. That's what he would have done. He would have made them
Yeah.
do the basics right. But does De Zerbi really think with 7 games left of the Premier League season this is the time to implement a new style of play. Because that is the thing for me that I look at and think, well, will he just go, it's horses for courses. We've got to pick up basically 8 points from these 7 games. So how do we do that? Well, the best way of doing that is not make defensive mistakes, not put players in positions where they're going to fail, and just simplify the game as quickly as possible, lump the balls up to Dominic Solanke, try and get men round him. Is that not the approach that they're going to take just to get through to the end of the season?
I think for these kinds of things, it's a really interesting game because, and I think you summed it up there. You need 8 points from 7 games, and I can't for the life of me remember who they have after us.
Well, let me tell you,
Yeah,
my
please
friend.
do. Because even before you do, and this will compound it when you do, but even before you do, 8 points from 7 games, normally you would come in and you would say, first game, people have been on international break. I haven't had you training for very long. I need a bit longer. Let's just not lose the first game. And you come to Sunderland and you take a point. But actually, that then means you need 7 points from 6 games, and it's really tight. And so do you? And if you think about, tell me they've got difficult fixtures coming. Tell me they do.
Yeah, well, I'll go through them. So they've got to play us. Then they've got Brighton at home, which is not an easy game. Brighton at home. They've then got to go to Wolves away. They've got Villa away. They've got Leeds at home, which is obviously a massive 6-pointer. Then they've got Chelsea away and Everton at home. And Everton are one of the best away teams in the league. So you look at that there, and if you're a Tottenham, you've got to target. I mean, we said 8 points, but essentially 3 wins or 2 wins, 2 draws. So you've got to look at the Sunderland game and say, well, that has to be a draw. You've got to look at the Brighton game and think, we've got to try and get a draw there. The Wolves away game, you've got to win. That would be 5 points. Villa
Leeds,
away, you're probably going to lose. Then you've got to beat Leeds. That will get you the 8 points. And then I think Chelsea away, they'll lose. Everton on the final days. It's hard.
How tight is that?
Yeah,
that means you have to beat Wolves and you have to beat Leeds. And if you don't, there's no breathing room. And that makes me think. That makes me wonder. I mean, do they really come and play for a draw? Because that just compounds what you said about saying must beat Wolves, must beat Leeds. If you take a draw here, or do you come and try and win?
I think it's really hard. Do you, if you're Spurs, do you? I think about if Sunderland were in this position, and I think, do you go there with the intention of not losing, but hoping that you will be able to punish them on set pieces or punish them on a mistake? Is that what you do? You hope that Sunderland, because if I was going to the stadium and I was Tottenham, right, in the position they're in, the logical thing to do is sit defensive, let Sunderland have the ball and try and hit them on transition. I think if De Zerbi takes them to Sunderland and plays attacking football and has control of the ball, that's going to play into how we want to play, because we'll go, okay, you do that. We'll just try and hit you on the transition. We know that you're really weak defending transitions, so that's what we'll do. To me, it's nonsensical for them to come to Sunderland and try and play an expansive style where they're really pressing our half, because I think that's what we want them to do. Really, Spurs need to sacrifice the ball, let us try and control the game, and then they should be hitting us on the break with Solanke and Richarlison and Matthias Tell and whoever else they've got. So,
I mean,
that's what I would do.
Is this how you survive relegation when you take over a club in Football Manager? Do you go for that one
generally,
point?
Yeah. I think you go for the point and hope that you can nick some, like what we did at Leeds away. We went for a point and then you find a way to win the game because you get a penalty.
I mean, maybe, but that's such pressure because now you need 7 points in 6 games. And you got Villa and Chelsea in there, so you need 7 points out of 4 games. I mean, it just gets harder and harder if you just take a point.
But what if they come to Sunderland and play an expansive game and get picked off on the counter and lose 2-0?
Well, I don't think they're any worse off than taking a point.
I think they are. Because I think it's all about momentum. It's all about, like, I remember in the Allardyce, we went to Stoke and got a 1-1 draw. And at the time, people were like, "Oh, it's not it doesn't really do that much for you." But it keeps you ticking over. It gives you the mentality of, right, we're 1 unbeaten. Then you go to Brighton next week, maybe you get something. We're 2 unbeaten. You go to Wolves, you get something. Then you've got 3 games where maybe you're unbeaten in it. The snowball.
Time is so short, though. Time is so short.
Yeah. I think it's really, really interesting. I think the way that
Very
Tottenham
interesting.
play this game is far more interesting the way than Sunderland play this game.
Yeah, for what it's worth, I don't think he comes and plays for the draw. I think it might look like that to the outside eye, but that he will press all over the field. He will demand a press because that's what he always does. When he's at Brighton, when he's at Marseille, that's what he does. His teams press all over the pitch and they press hard. And he'll try and play it out from the back, and he'll try and entice a press from us.
Yeah.
And we do that only in the final third. So he'll try and entice a press from us. He'll try and leave the midfield vacant. He will outnumber us at the base. He'll have two central midfielders that will drop. He'll keep his four players quite deep. Unlike Newcastle, where their fullbacks pushed high, he'll keep an overload deep, trying to either play round our press in that final third, and then he move up the pitch quite quickly up the centre, and he'll have players overloading there. So I think it's very important that we don't chase that press too much in the final third, particularly from goal kicks and things like that, because that's what they'll do. They'll stand on the ball and they'll try to invite it, and then they'll try and play triangles through the middle. And it's highly risky because if they lose the ball at that point, they're exposed. But I think that's what he does. I think he doubles down on who De Zerbi is, and I think he plays that. I think he plays a press. I think he plays a temptation for us to press him. But what happens if we don't? It's very difficult for him then.
Do you see if we just sit in formation and just
if we sit in? I mean, we only generally press in the final third, but Regis might be a bit more cautious against De Zerbi. And what if we sit in? Well, then what do? They cannot draw a press if we just sit in.
I think it is. It's interesting, isn't it?
It is, because I don't think De Zerbi wants a draw here. I think they should go for one, but I don't think he'll want one. Not in his nature.
So do you think if the game's at 1-1 on 75 minutes, Tottenham are going, we want to win this, we're not going to take the point, you think they're going to keep pushing, and maybe getting picked off?
But they don't push in a traditional sense of really. They try to draw you on. And then if we don't press, they will try and play that game in the middle, where they'll have a high line, but they'll outnumber us, and they'll say, look, we've got our back four plus our two central midfield pivots. There's 6 people in our midfield, or inside our half, just inside our halfway line. There's 6 people, and we will just play it around you. You're going to have to, and if you don't, then fine, we'll get free crosses in or whatever. So in a sense, we have the opportunity to control the midfield, a bit like Newcastle. I just think we have to be really careful not to fall for being caught out by that press, because he'll drop those 2 central midfielders. He'll keep his back 4 there, and if we're caught out by it, they'll just play around us like that at the back, and then all of a sudden the midfielders open up.
But if we look at Spurs, so the injuries, and then the London Standard have nicely done a predicted lineup, so we'll go through that as well for Spurs. But Odebear's out, Kulusevski's out. I mean, he apparently he might actually be finished, as in he's not going to play again.
Really? Kudos is out again, isn't he?
Yeah, we'll get there. Look at you jumping ahead. I've got an injury list here. He's coming in there, just spoiling the full list. Madison's out. Vicario is out, so they'll be playing Kinski. Matthias Tell is a doubt. Saw is a doubt. Bentancur is a doubt. Ben Davies, Kudus, and Basuma are all out. So it's predicted they're going to line up with Kinski. Then it's going to be a back 4 of Porro, Romero, Van der Ven, and Udogi. So there's a lot of pace there. So you could play a very high line. Midfield of Gray and Bergval, which I think is 2 teenagers. And then Kolomwani, Simons, Matthias Tell, and Solanke. So 4-2-3-1. That's what they're guessing.
Well, they will. And those 2 will drop. But those 2 are not natural droppers, I don't think.
Well, Gray and Bergval.
Are they?
Well, Gray's Mr. Versatile, isn't he? He plays everywhere.
I mean, they're not 2 jackers, are they?
No. Well, I mean, and that's why when I look at that, and I think that we can really have a go at the middle of the park there. I think we can.
I think we win this game in the middle of the park, but you have to be really careful, Because if you press those central midfielders and they've got 6 at the back or 7, including the goalkeeper, and they'll invite the goalkeeper onto the ball as well, which might be a blessing for us. I don't know.
Yeah.
But if they've got 6 or 7 at the back and we are invited on to follow those dropping central midfielders, then it's risky for us. And do we need to take that risk? And the longer the game goes on, does De Zerbi take a draw? I don't think he wants to. So who knows how it will go? I think it'll be a very, very tight first half because I think naturally Regis is stay in the game and he'll be very wary about being caught on the break. I mean, ever since Man United away early on in the season, we just don't get caught on the break. Regis doesn't like it. It's a bit like being cheated out of being in the game. So he just doesn't like it. I think it's a cheap goal to give away if you're beaten on the break. So I think he'll be very wary against that for De Zerbi. So it'll be quite a tactical game. It'll be very interesting. I don't really know, other than that lineup, which I think is a pretty good lineup for them, and those dropping central midfielders and trying to invite our press. I don't really know how the game is going to go. It's a question of, do we fall for it? Do we take that risk? Do we dominate that midfield? Because, as you say, if we move into that, they do have those fullbacks with pace to play around us from the back. But what a risk they take in doing that.
So
because if they lose it midway through doing that, well, they're knackered.
I think as well, it's worth looking at Tottenham's form. I mean, I think we've been very respectful of Tottenham here in the dangers they possess, but I think it also must be said, and I'll read through the results back to when we drew with them in January. So this is all the results back to that game. Okay. So they lost 3-0 against Forest. They beat Atletico Madrid 3-2 at home. They drew away at Liverpool 1-1. They lost 5-2 at Atletico Madrid, which is the one where the goalkeeper made loads of errors. They lost 3-1 at home to Crystal Palace, 2-1 away at Fulham, 4-1 at home to Arsenal, 2-1 at home to Newcastle, or the visitors, 2-0 away at Manchester United. They drew 2-2 against Manchester City. They beat Frankfurt 2-0 in the Champions League. They drew 2-2 away at Burnley. They beat Dortmund 2-0 at home in the Champions League. They lost 2-1 against West Ham. They lost 2-1 against Aston Villa, both of them at home. They lost 3-2 away at Bournemouth. They drew 1-1 with Sunderland. And just to go before that, they drew 0-0 with Brentford. And their last win was on the 28th of December when they beat Crystal Palace 1-0 away from home. So they are a really bad football team. And I don't think you can go... A new manager coming in can't suddenly turn a football team that has not won a Premier League game since December.
Well, a lot of his players will have been on international duty, and he won't have been able to train with them.
Well, he will have though. He will have had 10 days with them. Okay,
I can say that I watched some training videos of him and his arrival, and he is trying. It was clear, if you know what his style of play is, it is clear that he's going to play out from the back in those triangles and those dropping midfielders. Yeah. He is going to play like that. And that's incredibly risky. And given how many goals they concede, maybe we should take the gambit that he offers. Press our dropping midfielders, because if they cock it up, they're exposed. Maybe we should take that gamble. And if the game is still tied going into the last quarter, I think we will.
Well, I think as well, if Tottenham are going to play a high press, high tempo kind of game, the chances are this team, it's just a bad team. This team is not going to be fit enough to do that for 90 minutes, are they? So is it a classic Regis takes it to 75 minutes and we win it later on, as we've done many times this season?
Well, I think if the game is still tied, we take that gambit and press those dropping midfielders in the last quarter for sure. Because I think if it's still 0-0, I mean, well, this is an interesting question. If it's still 0-0 at 75 minutes, do you think go for the win? And if we lose, never mind. Do you do that?
I don't think Regis does that. I think Regis is, again, respectful of the point, but hoping you can nick something. I feel like that's basically our approach every game, though, is let's respect the draw, but if we can find a way to win it, we'll win it. But that's generally the Sunderland approach, isn't it? We want to stay in the games and then find either a set piece or a penalty or, a moment of magic, a Brian Brobby,
maybe. Whatever. You do have to remember that at the start of every game, you are gifted a point for nothing.
Yeah.
So you don't have to earn that point. You're gifted it. You just have to not lose it.
Yeah.
Everything else you've got to earn. So maybe so they are practicing that. And you say high tempo, high press. They only do that when they're in flow. Once they can break the first line, they will try and break lines like that, and they will play a high line and they'll play fast like that. To begin with, they will quite happily stand on the ball, just literally stand still
Yeah.
and put a foot on the ball, and you will see their centre halves do that at the weekend. And as you say, I'm not moving, and so it's not all high tempo.
Yeah.
They will literally stand on the ball, and the keeper will as well. And you'll see them put their studs on the ball, on top of the ball, to ape not being ready to play and trying to tempt that press. And then they'll try and play those quick triangles, a bit like we did and have done against Brighton and Newcastle, and all through the season actually. And we've gotten better as the season goes on. That ball goes to it goes from like Ballard, say, as a goal kick, back to the keeper, out to Xhaka, out to the fullback, and then up the field. And it's those one touches. And sometimes you've seen that pass where they're pressing really tight, and it gets to Xhaka, and you think, oh my God, that's close. But we've gotten better at doing it. And we were really very good at beating Newcastle's press like that with those one-touch passes. And that is what they will try to do as well.
So if we were to look at things then from the Sunderland side, the way we played against Newcastle, what I think was almost lost in the euphoria of the Derby win was that it was our best attacking display, possibly home and away, but certainly away from home it was our best attacking display. And when we saw signs against Brighton that things were getting better, so that lends me to sort of look at this game and think, right, are we going to see again another, not an evolution, but another sign of progression where we are going to be better at creating chances. We are going to be a bit more fluid in the final third, because it felt like we were getting men in the box against Newcastle. It felt like that was the first time we'd seen us all season, certainly since the early part of the season, get lots of men in and around the box. Is that going to be what we see in this game, where we are a little bit more creative? Maybe we create a 1.5 xg, something lovely like that, which we don't normally do.
Maybe. I mean, one of the noticeable things, as you say, was how many men we got forward. And I thought Trowder got forward quite a lot. But if you look at the game back, Hume doesn't. So you're not having both of them forward. So I think a lot will depend on, I mean, who knows if Trowder even starts again. But it depends what team he picks as to, who goes forward and where. And so I think there are lots of options for the team. And it's difficult to know.
So we're gonna talk about what we're gonna pick in terms of the lineup, but we'll cut the first part of the preview here. The second part is gonna go up on the Patreon channel, which is free. You don't have to pay anything. So we put up our predicted lineups on there. So the link will be in the description. Follow that if you want to see what we would do with the team. But thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you again for another video. Okay, I'll do the Patreon bit now. Right, Taff, we are going to do our lineups for Sunderland's game against Tottenham. Do you want to hear some of the early team news? We are recording this before the press conference, but the early team news is Traore, Tarby, Mundle, and Angulo. They are all probably going to miss the game. Angulo looks like he's in and around training, but I think it'll come.
What happened to Talby? He played.
Tarby.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's not going to be the last time I make that error.
No, that's
or any
Jocelyn.
of us.
Jocelyn. Ballard also probably going to miss out, it seems. Roofs should be back, and then Mukiele, Ronaldo, and Lefay all will be back unless they picked up another injury. So that is where we are at with the injuries for Sunderland. Now, the question for me is the left back, Trey Hume kind of situation going on. What does he do at right back? I think that's where the main decisions are going to be made. And I also think there's a decision to be made in the midfield as well, but we'll get to that. So in terms of the back five, what do you think it'll end up being?
I think it's really hard. If Roofs is fit, I have him back in again. I know some people said Wolf deserves that, but I think no chance. Roofs is one of the finest goalkeepers we've had at Sunderland. He goes straight back in if he's fit. Obviously, Alderete starts, and then I mean, I think it's difficult because I think you've got to be really careful against Tottenham. Do we want to have two bombing wing backs like in Ronaldo and in Mukiele? I'm not. I don't know. So maybe Mukiele goes to centre half because there isn't an option. I felt like
Well,
Head
Una,
Travis played. Well, I don't really think that's an option, but
why?
he played. He played well. He played well, but I mean, he's never making the team sheet first. I'm afraid. He did, apart from his error, which was a slip. Granted, he defended well. He tracks well. He covered well. But no, he doesn't start for me. I'm afraid. I think Hertrauder was excellent and linked well with Rig excellently. So it depends who's our right winger. Do you have Hertrauder and I think I go Hertrauder, Mukiele, Alderete, and Ronaldo. I think.
Yeah, so I wrote this down and I had Roofs. I had Ronaldo, Alderete, Mukiele. I thought Mukiele and Alderete at centre back made the most sense. And then at
Yes.
right back, I found it really difficult because Hertrauder played so well against Newcastle, but
Yeah.
Trey Hume has done so well playing at left back. So to pull one of them out just felt so incredibly harsh. But I settled on Hume playing right back.
Oh, it's such a tough choice, isn't it?
I
But
know,
you see, if Hume, I mean, it makes a lot of sense because if Hume plays right back, then Ronaldo has the license to bomb on. But who are you playing on the left wing in front of Ronaldo?
right. Well, okay. Well, we'll move on to the rest of the team
Because I
because I
think
think
this
that
makes an
makes sense.
impact on your choices at the
So
fullback.
my midfield three, which will also indicate what I'm doing in the front three.
Yeah.
My midfield three would be Xhaka, Siddiqui, and Lefay.
Yeah.
So I've pulled Diarra out, and then
Yeah.
the front three is Talby, Brobby, Rig.
Talby, Bobby, Rig. I mean, but part of the reason Rig played so well is because Hertrauder linked so excellently with him. And now you have Hume behind him. Hume is not going to be able to link with Rig as well. And I think you have a much more redundant right-hand side if you play Rig in front of Hume.
It's so difficult though. The
No,
reason
I
why
know.
I went with Hume
There's
was
another
because
problem. There's another
okay, go
problem.
on.
If you're playing Talby in front of Reynildo, because Hume is at right back, Reynildo's going to create the numbers by bombing on. But then you have Talby, who is so weak defensively, the weakest winger defensively, in front of him. And you're asking that fullback to bomb on. The reason it worked well against Newcastle is because Talby, the weakest defensive winger, had Hume behind him, who didn't bomb on and was able to cover and be superb defensively. So I think the wingers you play in front of those fullbacks are really crucial to who you choose at fullback. And that's why Talby worked so well against Newcastle, because Hume was behind him. And that's why Hertrauder made Rig so good, because he went on and linked well with him. So I think it's more difficult than just choosing those fullbacks. I don't think your fullbacks work with your wingers.
So okay, well that's an interesting thing because so you've got Ronaldo playing and Hertrauder. So I presume you've got Rig playing on the right, and you've got Lefay playing on the left,
Yes.
and then you've got
because Lefay and
Xhaka.
Ronaldo is much more secure than Ronaldo and Talby.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I have Xhaka and Siddiqui, and I still play Diarra and Brobby.
But my thought for Diarra isn't. I know there's a bit of rhetoric around him, which I
Yeah.
don't really understand. I really like Habib Diarra, but I
I
looked
do.
at the midfield three and I just thought against Tottenham, Xhaka, Siddiqui, Lefay, I think is the nicest
I
blend
get it.
of solidity
Yeah.
and.
I get it. I get it. But you cannot make your wingers work with your fullbacks when you do that. And that's the reason why I don't do it.
But
Do you
then
see what I'm saying about that left with Talby and Ronaldo if Ronaldo's the bomber on?
I do
Because
see
you've
that,
got
but
Hume at right back and Hume isn't going to be bombing on.
then
Do you see the problem
that
it causes?
I do. But then I look at that and I just think, to me,
That's
it
a
seems
fact.
ridiculous if long term we're basically saying that you don't really want to play Ronaldo and Talby on because I mean they are our first choice players for them positions.
Yeah. I mean,
We're gonna have to figure it out.
well, I don't think you can't play them. I just think the right hand side you've got of Hume and Rigg means that your attack has to be down that left.
Right, but if we looked right at how Tottenham, so Tottenham are going to play with Porro on their right side against our left side. It'll be Porro and Kolo Muani. So they are both very attacking, very very attacking. So that would also, while we could look at it and say Sunderland need to make sure they're defensive responsible for those two, it also means there is going to be tons of opportunity for us to hit them on the counter attacks. So if you sit in and you almost go to Tottenham, do you know what? We're going to respect your attacking quality on the wings and play in a way that does that. Then you are almost in a way handing Tottenham that
Sure.
authority. Whereas if we almost match them in a way, but I would say that
What
Ronaldo
about
is a
if you
better
keep
defender than Porro.
What about if you keep Hume at left back and play Talby in front of him?
He's not going to not play Ronaldo, surely.
I'm asking you.
No, I don't think he
That
does
that
that.
that, that solves your problem, doesn't it? On the
But
left
then,
a bit.
no, because I think the issue
Okay.
with that is that if Sunderland lose the game, right, this is the same thing with Elborg going to nets, right? So if Elborg starts the game, even though Roofs is fit, because Elborg's done well, and then Elborg makes a mistake and we lose the game, that decision is going to be scrutinised. Whereas if Roofs starts the game and makes a mistake, nobody would question it because they go, "But he's been brilliant all season. He's the number one." And for me, if you play Trey Human at left back, and then he doesn't have a great game, and Ronaldo, who is one of the best left backs in the league, isn't playing, well, that's just ridiculous. Why would you put a square peg in the round hole when you got a round peg for the round hole? So no,
Yeah.
you play your actual left back in there, and if
Then
Ronaldo
it's
and Talby
stupid.
kind of figure it out, then
Okay. All right. Fine. I think you made a valid case to stick with it. I
thank
still
you.
think that our right hand side of Rigg and Hume is far less impressive going forward and defending than Hertrauder and Rigg. But
Well,
I'm agreed
well,
that I would, yeah,
well.
I'm
If
agreed to play Rigg on.
Spurs' other side, they've got a doggy and tell, which feels very similar to Porro and Kolo Muani, if I'm being brutally honest. It feels very similar in that they've got two fullbacks there that really like going forward.
Yeah.
So
And look how many times Hertrauder and Rigg got behind Gordon and Hall,
it's so
or
true. And
Barnes and Hall.
do you know my thought process with playing Hume over Hertrauder? I actually wrote Hertrauder in first, and then I changed my mind. The reason why I did that was because I think Hume's going to be here next season and is Hertrauder. You know what I mean? Like, why piss off?
If we make Europe, yes.
But if we
If we make Europe, he stays, I think.
but if you piss off Hume for a player that's not going to be here, that's silly.
Uh, I mean, would you piss him off? I think he seems pretty level-headed. He's played a lot of football, a lot of places. He does whatever job he's asked to do. And
True,
I think Hertrauder played so well and linked
he
so
did.
well with. He was so good defensively. He managed Barnes and Gordon one-on-one pretty much all game,
He did.
and he helped Rigg expose the space behind them.
He did. I
And
can't
and he
deny
was
any of
against
these
similar
things.
fullbacks. Yeah,
Hertrauder, I think, is a better player than Hume.
Hume is a more reliable player defensively, is he?
I don't know. Do you know what? I think maybe if I was picking the team, I'd play Hertrauder, but I think he'll play Hume. He seems to always play Hume.
And obviously, it's probably up front.
No, no, yeah, it is.
All right, let's
Yeah, it
recap
is.
then. Recap.
Okay, so I think we both agreed that it's going to be Roofs, Ronaldo, Alderete, Mukiele, and Hertrauder. I think we'll
Although
say that's our
you
joint.
okay.
The midfield three, we've got a big discrepancy. Oh no, do we have a big discrepancy here now?
Um, I yeah, you want Lefay in the 10, and I would rather have him on the left
Yeah. Is that, are
instead
you
of
still
Tal.
settling on that?
I think I am.
Okay,
I
well,
would
we're
be
definitely.
happy. I would be happy, as I think Regis would be, to bring Talby on for the last 15 if it's still a tie.
I just think though that we need to give Talby and Rig like a proper go on the wings.
Okay. Look,
So
I'm not against it. I'm not against it, and I can see
okay,
why if you do that, I think it does require Diarra to step down for Lefebvre. Lefebvre is the finest technical footballer I've ever seen at Sunderland. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, so then I've went Jacques Siddiqui Lefebvre, Talby, Robbie Rigg. You've went potentially Jacques Siddiqui Diarra, Lefebvre, Robbie Rigg. But
Yes.
Rigg being in there, that is a big thing because
Both of us agree that Rigg should be there. Yeah.
yeah, he should
But
be as well.
I think Hertrauder facilitates him better than Hume will do. I think he'll have a game where he's not really in the game if Hume is behind him.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think. Oh, should we do some predictions just to finish off this? So where I'm at with this is Tottenham are not suddenly going to become a very, very good team. I mean, you clip that up. Maybe I'm going to look like an idiot come Sunday afternoon when we're doing a live stream. But
I'm disappointed if we end the season not in somebody's propaganda. So let's go for it.
that is true. I think Sunderland though should win this game. I think Tottenham are crap. They've been crap for 2 seasons, and I don't think changing manager is going to suddenly change that. So I think Sunderland will win this game 1 or 2-0.
I think that things are so tight that they cannot come and play for a draw, or at least I think De Zerbi's attitude will mean that where they should come for a draw, he won't. And I've seen their training videos. They are going to try and attempt to press and play out from the back. He's going to play his usual style, exactly the same as he did at Brighton and Marseille. And that is high risk, high reward. So I agree. You can't suddenly turn donkeys into gold dust defensively. And that pace on the wing is too tempting for him on the flanks. So I also think that he will go for it. And I think they'll muck it up. And I think we'll win 2-1.
Both in agreement then that we're going to win. So,
yes.
Tottenham, well done on the victory this weekend. Take your 3 points. Enjoy playing in the Premier League next season. Thanks everyone though for watching this. Check out, we've done the question of the week, so check that out on the YouTube channel and the other preview to go along with this where we talk more about Tottenham in all honesty. So check that out as well if you've not seen it already. Though if you're watching this, you have probably seen that preview because that is why you're here. And we'll see you on Sunday evening at some point.
Post-match live?
Yeah, post-match live. Probably about 5 o'clock if I'm guessing, because I'll be at the match. So
it's the game on Sunday, is it?
Sunday, 2 o'clock.
I thought it was Saturday. That's okay. My wife will be pleased.
You've done this many times. Do you remember when you went to Oxford daily?
It's a wonder I ever turn up at the right place, isn't it?
It is.
Did I tell you before the playoff final? I woke up at 10 a.m. in the foothills of the mountains of Wales, and I'd lost my wallet and my glasses, and I had to get to Wembley that day.
God. The playoff final just gone.
Yeah.
God.
I made it though.
You've made just. I couldn't. Yeah. No. Do you know what? Me and you probably shouldn't socialize outside here. I feel like we are opposite there because I am early. Got to get there early. Got to make sure you're on time. As a school teacher, surely you're like that as well. Surely you prompt.
Well, I know I stay in my room, so that can't happen.
It's just fair enough.
If I had to go to other classes, it would be chaos. I stay in the
You just don't leave. That makes sense. That's a good system. It's a good system you've got there. Right. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.